Alrighty, so it's 9:02 my time, so we're going to go ahead and get this started. For anyone who rolls in a little bit later, we will have this session recorded, so you can watch it back afterwards or share with your colleagues after. So thank you very much to everyone who is joining us here today. Christina and I are very excited to be sharing more with you about Taxfix's success story, building up a referral program with Voucherify, Braze, and Amazon incentives as referral rewards. I'll also be sharing more on the capabilities that you can unlock with an integration between Voucherify and Braze. So we'll kick things off just with some introductions to ourselves first, so you know who you'll be hearing from today. My name is Amy Cannon, and I am a technical account manager and integration manager here at Voucherify. So I work with our customers to help bring their loyalty and promotion use cases to life through configuration, both on our campaign dashboards and through our APIs. I also work directly supporting integrations for our customers with our technology partners, such as Braze, to help them take advantage of a best-of-breed composables tech stack in the process of customer engagements. So over to you, Christina, for a quick introduction as well.
Cool, thank you. Hi, also from me. I'm Christina. I'm a CRM manager at Taxfix currently. I have joined about a year ago, and before that have been doing CRM in a couple of different industries already for the past 6 years. And since I joined Taxfix a year ago, one of my main responsibilities is actually taking care of the entire incentivization setup and taking that to the next level. So therefore, I've been working very closely with Voucherify and been also working on a lot of different ways on how to integrate it into our CRM.
Awesome. Thank you. So for the rest of today's agenda, we're going to start by providing an overview of the Braze and Voucherify integration and the marketing and engagement functionality that can be leveraged by connecting these tools in real time. Then I'll turn it over to Christina to share more about Taxfix's success story with their Voucherify-based referral program and how they've used Braze's connected content integration with Voucherify for other campaigns as well, to be able to retrieve and publish campaign codes and related content from Voucherify to actually send and assign to their customers directly. As part of that discussion, we will share more about the Amazon Incentives API, which Taxfix used to distribute Amazon gift card rewards to their referrers, and then we'll wrap with some time for Q&A as well. So a little bit about Voucherify to start for those who aren't familiar. Voucherify is an API-first loyalty and promotions engine that helps customers build coupon code campaigns, in-cart promotions, digital gift cards, loyalty programs, and referral programs, as we'll be discussing today, in addition to many other types of promotional campaigns, which you can see more about on our website. So we are proud members of the MOC Alliance, and our headless technology means that our customers can integrate essentially whenever and however they want with any front-end presentation on websites, mobile apps, or even in-store point-of-sale systems for their customers. So we work with over 400 enterprise brands currently, and we do have out-of-the-box integrations for dozens of our technology partners as well, like Braze, with whom we are an official Braze Alloy partner. So I'd like to share a little more now about the integration landscape between Braze and Voucherify and how these two tools can actually work together. So there are a number of different ways that both bidirectional and unidirectionally flowing data can be connected between Braze and Voucherify. As a powerful customer engagement platform, Braze is used to segment audiences and to be able to target custom and personalized messaging to these audiences through email, SMS, or in-app push notifications primarily. So we'll be covering each of the connection methods shown up on the screen here today. Connected content scripts defined in Braze are Braze-triggered requests that retrieve unique campaign details and variables related to individual customers from Voucherify that can then be used in Braze campaign outreach. So this can be used to publish vouchers and send them to customers, invite new referrers to your referral program, retrieve loyalty card balances, and more. Custom attributes in Braze allow a Voucherify triggered distribution to send unique campaign or referral codes from Voucherify to Braze, assigning each of these as a custom attribute in the customer's Braze profile that can then be used as a variable in Braze campaigns. Now, for kind of a more manual and direct import of Voucherify voucher codes into Braze, we can use the promo code lists. So this route doesn't actually require a direct integration, but simply an export of all vouchers in a campaign from Voucherify and an import of those into Braze through a CSV file. So using Liquid and Braze, you can actually insert one of the unique promotion codes from that uploaded CSV file into a message to send out to a customer. Essentially, they're moving the management and distribution of the codes fully into Braze, with Voucherify then coming back in to validate and redeem the codes once the customers actually go to use them. Now, because both Braze and Voucherify are built on powerful and very flexible APIs, these in combination with webhook triggers, which you'll hear a little bit more about later, do allow for a quick custom integration between the two systems, real-time data flow, and automated campaign and referral code allocation and distribution based on customer actions and events. So let's talk a little bit more about connected content. Inserting connected content scripts into the body of your Braze canvases is really one of the most powerful ways that you can retrieve campaign variables from Voucherify to be used in customer outreach through Braze. Variable details you can see here as examples like referral code expiration dates and available rewards for individual referrers can be pulled this way. But connected content can also be used to request and publish a new referral code from Voucherify to assign that to a Braze customer. So this request, publishing, and retrieval of a unique referral code and the sending out of said code to the customer can all be done in one action by embedding a connected content script into the body of your Braze canvas. By nesting Voucherify's API keys in this script, that's actually all that's required to connect to Voucherify. So, no direct plugin integration is actually required in this case. Now, the referral program use case is definitely a great example of where connected content can be leveraged to retrieve and publish campaign and voucher data from Voucherify. But the same process can be used across many other types of campaigns built in Voucherify, such as gift card programs, loyalty programs, as well as just general promo code campaigns, as Christina will share more on later in the context of how Taxfix actually leveraged connected content beyond their referral program to allocate coupon codes for customers. And I'll just call it right now that anything that we're covering today, you can find many case studies and detailed step-by-step documentation on how to implement on both the Voucherify and the Braze websites. So custom attributes in Braze, for those who aren't familiar, are a collection of Braze users' unique traits, and these are manifesting as fields within their Braze user profile. So using, in this case, a Voucherify triggered distribution, we can publish Voucherify referral codes or other promotional codes to Braze to assign these codes as custom attributes in customers' Braze profiles that can then be used in campaigns built through Braze and attached as variables in messages to customers to actually send them these voucher codes. Now, because this route of sending codes from Voucherify to Braze is Voucherify triggered from the Voucherify distribution dashboard, so this is unlike the Braze triggered API request of connected content. For this reason, the Braze and Voucherify plugin integration is required here in order to send Voucherify codes as custom attributes to Braze. Now, this integration is very simple, can truly be done in just a matter of minutes. Like I said, all of the step-by-step instructions there can be found on both the Voucherify website and the Braze website. So this publication can be done through a manual one-off distribution to a specific Braze audience if you have that audience imported into Voucherify, which I'll share a little bit more about later. Or it can also be an automated distribution based on a custom action trigger or event on an individual customer or user basis. So in that case, webhooks can notify Voucherify of this trigger, along with the ID of the customer that this distribution should be sending for, automating creation of that customer in Voucherify, and then the subsequent send out of their code as a custom attribute into their Braze profile. So these types of custom event triggers can be used for a number of use cases to automate the publication and the distribution of a Voucherify code to a Braze customer. So this could be something as simple as a sign up for a referral program based on, a landing page form that you've built. So this would be a case of an external custom event that's actually triggering a Voucherify action to generate, publish, and distribute that referral code. You can also use custom events that occur within Voucherify as triggers through that bidirectional data flow between Voucherify and Braze. So you could set up an action-based delivery in Braze that will trigger when users perform specific events. So one of these events, as an example that you'll see here, could be a failed coupon redemption for a customer, with this failure event sent as a custom event from Voucherify. So based on that, you could set up a distribution in Braze to trigger upon redemption failure to use connected content to retrieve and publish a new voucher for a customer to send out to them automatically when this failed redemption event occurs to make up for that disappointment of the code failure. Now, syncing your Braze audience to Voucherify is not always required. For example, if you're using connected content or if you're creating action-based distributions from Voucherify to Braze that will pull in customer information automatically when triggers occur. However, if you do take advantage of mass distribution from Voucherify to a larger scale Braze audience for a one-time send out, you can do so with Braze Canvas webhooks. So this will really just be a new Canvas message that you create with a webhook distribution selected. And this will send Braze customer segment data to Voucherify. So this integration will call a dedicated webhook URL on Voucherify's end, and that will bring the customer's audience ID from Braze into Voucherify. So this action can add or remove customers from these Braze audiences in Voucherify by means of just adding or removing a metadata attribute in the Voucherify customer profile that will appear under Braze audiences, including that Braze audience ID. And in addition to this, you can also import customers with these attributes via CSV or API. So with a little bit of an introduction there to Voucherify and Braze and the integration between the two and capabilities, I'd like to turn it over to Christina now to share more about Taxfix's story.
Thank you, Amy. We can immediately jump to the next slide. Let me start by giving you a little bit of context about Taxfix maybe and the challenges that we were facing initially. We are a mobile and web app-based company in Berlin, helping users to file their taxes quickly and hassle-free. And we were founded 7 years ago, but our company only really started doing proper CRM about 2 years ago. So that's when we actually integrated Braze into our CRM. And also roughly when we started actually working with Voucherify. And from our user interviews, we knew that one of our strongest acquisition tools in general is word of mouth. So happy customers were the best in actually acquiring other happy customers. So we had a specific business need to really find a way to leverage this on scale for us in order to increase also new registrations coming in. And we initially had somewhat of a basic referral program already in place, but that was super basic and very, very difficult to scale. And also included customer service actually helping us, which is then why we were actually looking for an API-first solution that would easily be able to be integrated into our existing tool setup and would us as a team enable us to be self-sufficient in running experiments and personalize easier and faster. The referral program that we actually then decided on together with our product team was a combined solution with Braze, SendGrid, Voucherify, and Amazon Incentives, where we would give referees a 50% discount on their first tax submission with us, and then reward the referrers with a €30 Amazon voucher, which would actually only be delivered once the referrers were actually submitting for the first time. And this program itself helped us to increase the registrations by 95%, which is crazy, versus the previous manual setup, and also helped us to reiterate much faster. So we actually got learnings way faster on like what is the ideal incentivization and what is the ideal, like both on the referrer side and the referee side, basically. If we go to the next slide, I can walk you through the actual setup that we had. So as you can see, we are kicking off the communication in Braze across all the channels that would actually then send people to a referral page within the app. There we have a link that then creates the personalized referral link and sends the referral conversion event to Voucherify. And once we register the referrals in Voucherify, we then send an event, like successful referral event, to our backend that then triggers the gift card to be created within the Amazon API. And then this gift code from the Amazon API is actually being sent back to our backend and then being filled into a transactional campaign, which is on our end always sent through SendGrid. If we go to the next slide, the big advantage of the setup is that we could integrate both Voucherify and Amazon incentives seamlessly into our tool setup and actually send the incentives in real time. And it finally removed this overhead for customer service, and it made it much easier for us to be self-sufficient. The other experiment or the other example that I wanted to show you where we've successfully implemented Voucherify into our automation was the File More, Save More campaign. This is how we call it, which essentially is fostering repeat behavior. So it's incentivizing new customers by now it's an incentive for 15% within a given time frame to actually come back and submit with us again. And this helps us to obviously prevent churn, but also is really crucial for us because we know that people who repeat, so people who within a short amount of time, so for us it's 30 days, actually submit multiple times, we know that these will have a higher likelihood to be retained. So they are more likely to come back next year. And we had like an initial experimentation timeframe where we were trying to find the ideal incentivization amount. And once we had that, we now ran a like full-scale experiment during the last peak season for us, where we actually saw a 11% company-wide uplift in submissions, which is huge and really cool for us because that was initially a metric that everybody thought we cannot move, and we actually managed to move. And for this, we are using connected content. So it's the entire journey has basically 6 steps. And across all these steps, we are using the connected content calls, which makes it super easy for us to get a personalized code per recipient into any message, basically, both email and in-app messages, and always show the same code. And if we go to the next slide, I can also walk you through the setup here. Basically, as I said, we have a 6-message flow, and in every step of that flow, we have a small code snippet that also Amy showed earlier that is embedded within the HTML and that requests the personalized code from Voucherify. Voucherify then assigns this unique user code and then sends it back to Braze, and it's being replaced within the HTML with this in the placeholder and displays the personalized code. And this is then basically sent, and we have a time frame set for this code for 30 days, so people can redeem this code within the first 30 days. And these solutions all together made it possible for us to iterate really quickly because it made us as a team super self-sufficient. I think in a world where product resources are always limited and you could always have more, I think it's the biggest advantage of that. It was also really easy for our product team to set up and test. So there wasn't like a high investment necessary. It enabled us to be also very customer-centric by actually sending incentives in real time when the users are most likely to engage. And overall, I think we are definitely not done with experimenting. And we also already have a few ideas for testing other ways to integrate Voucherify in the next year. So I think it's a tool that actually gives you a lot of different opportunities. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Christina. So we do have quite a bit of time left now for Q&A. I think Julia has already got the chat running. If anyone has any questions they have, either for myself or Christina from Taxfix's perspective, from Voucherify and Braze's perspective, we're more than happy to answer those questions here together now. All right, we'll just give it a few minutes, and if we don't have a ton of questions, we can wrap early. I think we may have had some pre-questions that were sent in the sign-up form that we can take a look at as well. But then, like I mentioned, we will be able to actually send this recording out afterwards for those who want to rewatch this, or for any colleagues you have who were unable to attend today. Awesome. So it looks like we do have a question for Christina. Christina, any other recommendations on how to boost referrals through CRM activities?
So for us, the referral program is a program that isn't only run through CRM. So it's after we basically proved how successful it can be, we integrated it across multiple channels. So also we have dedicated campaigns for social media, for example, that are running with it as well. And I think that those are the channels that are most crucial to that. You can make it very public within the website itself, but also make it maybe part of successful customer success conversations, for example, right? So, for example, we are generally a service that is very customer service heavy. So people do tend to have constant touch points with us one-on-one. And if you then help them actually have a good experience, that's the moment where you can also leverage this service or leverage this program and kind of hint to it, which is why it's actually really helpful to have a landing page and not have it run completely independently within CRM, because then it's only like a one channel kind of program. I do believe, Amy, we had those 2 questions from before that were sent to us already by email. Maybe I can take one.
Sure. Yeah. And go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So there was this one question of what other referral rewards Taxfix has used already, and whether the gift cards were the ones that brought the highest ROI. And in short, yes. But basically, we experimented with 2 things, and that was one, the incentive that we had on a referee side, and the incentive that we had on a referral side. And initially, for example, we gave new customers a 50% discount. The reason here was because we, in general, had higher incentives that were basically flying around the company, right? So there were multiple other channels that were using, for example, a 20% incentive. So if we now, for the referral program, also would have used 20%, then it wouldn't have been the most significant incentive, or it wouldn't have been distinguishing enough, which is why we then went up to 50. Now, however, we basically reduce the amounts of incentives that are generally available, and we are smarter in the way that we are offering incentives and the values, which is why we were able to increase the incentive amount that we are giving out to referees, and that basically comes out to a better ROI for us. And it's still a significantly enough, or more interesting enough benefit to the customer to actually use it. So I think there's a bit of testing space, definitely, and I think it'll depend on your product price for one, but also the general incentive landscape that you have, and that is also that exists within your industry, and how price sensitive this market is. But for us, it was definitely looking at our pricing strategy as a whole.
Fabulous. And yes, looks like we have another question here. Did you A/B test different rewards at the same time? From the Voucherify side, is it possible to A/B test rewards and incentives? So I'll let you take the first half, Christina, and then I can answer the second half from Voucherify's perspective.
Yeah. So generally, how we always start with these things is that we usually always start with what we believe in the most. And we have an incrementality test. So it's usually a 50-50 split, and then have like first test the incremental value versus a holdout to see whether it works. And then we reiterate on the value, right? So we would, but it also depends on how big your customer audience is, I guess. But for us, it was always a reiteration basically on the previous version. It wasn't that we had, 5 different incentives running at the same time, but that's always per program, right? So if we think about File More, Save More and Referral program, for example, those are incentive programs that run at the same time. And in those, we also have like individual experiments at the same time.
Awesome. Yeah. And from a Voucherify perspective, this is actually a question we've been getting a lot lately in terms of A/B test capabilities, and certainly something that we're exploring, digging deeper into in our future roadmap for embedding those capabilities directly. What our customers typically do in order to emulate these types of A/B tests is to run simultaneous campaigns at the same time with slight trigger changes between the incentives and the rewards that you want to give out. And in our built-in dashboards, which you can see directly in Voucherify for all of your live campaigns, you get a direct view on all of the dollars attributed to the rewards you've given, the number of vouchers you've published, the number of validation attempts, and the number of actual failed or successful redemptions. So you can gain insights there about which of your campaigns are performing best, which have a good publish to redemption ratio, how many customers have you sent these vouchers to versus how many have actually redeemed them. And then you can kind of infer from that an A/B test, as it were, of which types of rewards and incentives are actually resonating better with which type of user bases. We'll keep it open for more questions, but we did have another email question for the Voucherify side that I wanted to answer now as well. So that was in regards to sending individual vouchers via email to specific users, and ultimately what the best way is to do that between Braze and Voucherify. So this can be done through any of the 3 methods that I discussed earlier today. So the first being connected content for that automatic request, publishing, and distribution of individual codes to individual users. The second would be using a distribution from Voucherify to send those vouchers as custom attributes to Braze user profiles that can be then used in those Braze campaigns. And then the third being that manual export of Voucherify coupons into Braze to actually manage and assign them and send them out via email through Braze. So, ultimately, the best method would really just be depending on what tool you're most comfortable administering within, as well as if that voucher campaign or referral campaign is more of a one-off kind of bulk send or a continual campaign that's going to be triggered by custom actions by individual customers. So, if you're looking at just a one-time bulk campaign send out, then, simply exporting the Voucherify codes into Braze, assigning from there might be an easy route for you, because that's going to be simple, straightforward, and that's not going to require any integration or really active administration other than assigning those coupons through Braze. The Voucherify triggered custom attribute distribution route, that's also going to be relatively simple and code-free to administer, but it will require a few steps there to actually integrate Braze and Voucherify, to get your Braze audiences into Voucherify, to distribute from Voucherify to Braze, and then to actually set up your Braze campaigns with these custom attribute variables. So that said, if you are comfortable using connected content scripts, and examples of this, again, like I mentioned, can be found on both the Braze and the Voucherify websites. That ultimately is what I would call the best method for code attribution, as this is really kind of a one-step action that's initiated from Braze while in the process of actually building out that email or SMS templates that you're going to send to your customers. So you can actually request, assign, and publish all at once through that Braze distribution, the individual vouchers via email to those individual users. So long answer is it can be any of the three based on the traits of your campaign and your level of comfort in which system you wanted to administer. But ultimately, to do that in one stop, connected content is probably going to be your best route there.
Fully agree. And also, I think this like short-term investment that will be necessary in order to set up connected content will definitely pay off, and will very quickly also pay off in terms of efficiency for the CRM team, right? So,
absolutely. So just while we wait for any last questions to come in before we close off for the day, I do just want to share some contact details here for you. If you have any follow-up questions that you'd like to dig into based on anything that we've covered today, or anything we didn't cover today that you'd like to get deeper on in terms of connected content, Braze and Voucherify integration, all that good stuff, referral programs, if you can contact sales@voucherify.io, we will be more than happy to follow up with you and answer any questions that you have. All right, last call for questions. It looks like we're pretty quiet in the chat, but thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. Christina and I really appreciate your time. And again, sales@voucherify.io, we're more than happy to carry on the conversation with you and answer any follow-up questions that you might have. I hope everyone has a fabulous rest of the day.
Thank you.